This episode is sponsored by Free Market Kids.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Orange Hatter. Today, you're listening to part 3 of my conversation with Laura of Italy.
Daniela and Alekos are all maybe always in the Satoshi Spritz here in Milan, even if they are away, and they have they opened a new very interesting space, a physical space in Brescia, is a Bitcoin hack. And I have to go to them. Maybe I can go next Saturday. Not this one, but the next one.
Yeah. So, when you say Bitcoin space, is it kind of like a co-working space, or is it more like a Bitcoiner gathering space?
Is anything is co-working is a physical space where people can enter and ask me anything
Oh, yeah.
about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Alekos is a very nice is a genius in coding, so maybe someone ask about coding.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sure that they are so young that can maybe arrive to younger people.
Yeah.
That is the most difficult thing to do.
So, are you finding from your own experience that it's easier to talk Bitcoin with people who have experienced some hardship in the current financial system versus young people who haven't started yet?
It's difficult for my project because I go in the shops, in the activities, in the enterprises. It's difficult for me to find young people
Oh, right.
because the owner of the shop is maybe my age or or younger, but not so young.
Right.
And young people I tried in the universities, but it's difficult to approach because they see the difference of age.
Right.
And I think it's good that they see this difference. They have to speak with someone that have their age and their experience. It's too simple to have experience and have the double of their years.
Yeah, I guess to them, we just look ancient and from a different time.
Yes.
Okay, so also I wanted to ask you about an email that you sent to me 2 weeks ago. You were talking to a couple of other women, and you were talking
Yes.
about doing specifically a women's outreach. Can you tell me about your ideas?
Yes, I have to say that I run my project from October. Unfortunately, only one woman came to one of my meetup, and I never talk think about this. I never think in deep about this. That is a problem I can see in a virgolette. It is a problem because women have the power to understand better, I think, what money is for a family. So maybe Bitcoin is the money for the people, and the people are our families, people are our women, people are our men, our merchants, our drivers, our they are the people.
Right.
And the people is not the government or the agencies or the officers. The people are the one I met in the underground when I go to work
Right. Yeah.
or when I come to home.
So, how do you think we can reach more women when we talk Bitcoin? That's one of the questions that's been rolling around in my mind because I travel all over the US, and I would say at any one Bitcoin meetup, at least 85% are men in most cases. There are a few rare, very rare groups where it's almost 60-40, but most of them actually fall more like 90-10. That's about the ratio that I'm seeing. So, what do you think? How can we reach more women?
We have we need two different um, two different helps. I spoke. I have translated in Italian your article about that, and I sent to a lot of male Bitcoiners, and they said, "Oh, but to the Satoshi Spirits there are women," and I know, I see them, and there are maybe 10%. Okay, maybe. And I said, and I asked to them, okay, but your communication is nice, is good. Their help is huge. Okay, but not enough women are at the Satoshi Spritz. So I think two things. One is a problem of communication. We have to change everything. And the second is that women that are listening this podcast have to go out and ask about Bitcoin. Join to a local meetup, write an email to me, to you, and ask about Bitcoin. So because we need, we can help only the women that would like to receive a help.
Right. Yeah, you can't force Bitcoin on anybody. For a lot of people, I think it just takes time for them to hear a little bit more and a little bit more to build that conviction. And we're working against all of the media hype about all the scandals, right? Every time there's a scandal, that's all they talk about. It's like they focus on the one bad and ignore the 99 good. So we have to work that much harder to overcome the beliefs that they form by listening to the scandal reports. And so we have to overcome that and then show them that Bitcoin is real and then show them that Bitcoin is not a scam. It's a really tall order, I think. And I don't know why. Maybe men just are wired slightly differently. They learn, I don't know. I don't know. I still haven't figured out exactly why there are more men in the space, except just that a lot of women, when they go into a relationship, tend to say, my responsibility is family and kids, and then the man's responsibility is money and finances. And so they sort of just relinquish that responsibility. And I understand there's divide and conquer, right? You gotta focus on what you need to focus on for the good of the family. But money applies to everyone, and it certainly applies to our children. They're gonna grow up in a world of unbelievable amount of debt that they had nothing to do with, but they have to pay it back.
We have to. Everything is correct. First off, the first things to do is to change communication and experience from enthusiasts like us, or like me. Sorry, like me, because before reading your article, I never thought about this. So the problem is mine. The problem is mine, and I have to correct. And thank you, thank you for this for this learning. The second is that families have a lot of problem, and if the husband or the male is the financial person in the family, is because the fiat is the fiat, we say the fiat in
fiat.
Latin. Okay, fiat is like in Italian. The fiat money is the family problem.
Right.
So you have to have in the family someone that spend his time, he's in the case of husband, to manage family money, but not knowing that the problem is the fiat money.
Right.
So and you don't have to be the financial person with Bitcoin. You don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to understand a lot of things. You can be your own bank if you think like a bank. If you think like a family, you can have a lot of free time for you and your husband and your kids. Because you only have, I think, at the beginning, you only have to understand how to manage. Then you can enter and go deeper in the learning. But this is the problem, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There's this almost like this chasm of we are on one side, and then, or me being like a pre-coiner on one side and Bitcoiners on the other side. There's this idea that you have to understand all the technical details and the nitty-gritties of how it works in order to be a part of the Bitcoin space. And that's just not true. We all use the internet and we benefit from the internet, but how many of us actually understand how the internet works? Not that many, right? So I think if we can bridge that chasm, bridge that gap, and convince women through personal stories and use cases, all we have to cross over is, do you believe Bitcoin is real or usable or can be useful? And then you just start using it. Like, you don't have to understand all the coding and behind the scenes and all these like security, privacy systems, all that stuff. You don't need to understand the nitty gritty of all of that to take advantage of being a part of a free system.
Yes, totally agree.
Which is why I don't want to talk that technical stuff on my
No, no,
podcast.
I love technical details. I love technical details, but
Yes.
I studied Bitcoin from 3 years, and after 10 hours, I was able to download my wallet and buy my Bitcoin. So without any known about technical details.
Exactly. You learn that out of interest and out of curiosity, but it's not absolutely necessary for to use Bitcoin to your own advantage.
This is my path. This is my individual path.
Yes.
I like this is my pop music, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone else that like rock music would like to understand better how to create a lighting channel.
Yeah. So true.
And never, I would like to that anybody, especially women, doesn't under evaluate the possibility that Bitcoin can open a lot of future works to be done maybe from home.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
I give some lessons to anybody from Italy, so not only from Milan, and I take some Satoshi in pay for this lesson about Bitcoin. Lighting channel management could be a very nice job in the future for all that young women that are at university now studying computer science, physics, mathematics, coding. If someone like to code, doesn't have to use the wallet that I use that I use. You can do your transaction coding on the command line
Yeah.
if you like. You can teach. There are a lot of jobs. I translate also. I also translate. So I have an income from this translation. All women have a creative mind, and can open a blog maybe from home, how to cook lasagna maybe, okay? And if your audience like your tips and tricks about lasagna, maybe can zap to you a micropayment. There is a special new horizon that is that arrived at the beginning of this year with the Zap, where people can pay to you 1 Satoshi, 2 Satoshis, as a fraction of a penny, a fraction of a penny. And if you are a nice creative content, you can have an income from this,
Yeah.
from pictures, from a blog, from a podcast.
Right. And it's peer to peer. It's you seeing value in something I'm doing and you paying me directly. We're not going through a third party. We're not going through the bank. We're not going to, credit card companies, none of that. It's literally you sending something to me for the value that I have delivered to you. So I think
Yes,
that's a really novel idea for people who don't understand the Bitcoin space. But once they understand that, they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? Then it's just me providing value directly to another human being. We don't have to convince another company to be our middleman. So
exactly. So when children are at school, you can write down your stories. You can draw your paper. You can do anything from at home, and then try to share this content on the web.
right.
And maybe someone can give a value for value back.
Yeah. Yeah. The term value for value, I think that's like the key right there. So before we sign off, what advice would you give someone who's sitting, particularly a woman who's sitting on the fence about Bitcoin? What would you say to that person?
I say, excuse me if I never thought about women on the fancy before this occasion, and apologize. But get out from your home, take your time. You need maybe half an hour. It depends on where you live, but take a time for yourself and go to join to a meetup and take a look around if you like. Ask for another meetup. Ask for a women-only meetup. There are a lot of people that are at the meetup, and maybe will say, "Okay, we can do it. It's not a problem."
Yeah.
Because Bitcoiner community is a very nice and very pleasant. It's a pleasure to enter in this community because every question have an answer,
That's true.
and maybe the answer is the one that the women in the listening are waiting for.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I think I'm quite sure, without quite, that anybody can find an answer.
Yeah. And for sure, this community is super supportive and anybody's willing to share their knowledge, really. So all you have to do is reach out.
Yes, but the first step is to get out from the comfort zone and help your husband with the financial problems, because the problem is not that you are not able to understand or not able to manage. The problem is that the money as we know in this moment is not a good money.
Yeah. That's another rabbit hole that we'll have to go down another time. So
Yes.
how can we support you? Are you you mentioned that you are teaching Bitcoin course in Italian and you're doing translation work. So how can the audience support you in what you're doing?
Oh, maybe if they read some interesting article that think that can be useful for Italian women,
Yeah.
I can translate and create a sort of network from United States women and Italian women,
Yeah.
just like we are doing, you and me, Tali.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, because if you see something interesting, maybe it worth to spread with the other part of the world.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for everything that you
Thank
have
you.
shared and for everything you're doing in Italy to spread the word about Bitcoin. We need people like you all over the world. So this is so wonderful.
There are.
I hope listening to this conversation has piqued your interest and inspired you. If you would like to learn more about Bitcoin or to read the show notes, please visit orangehatter.com for more information. Or you can email me directly at tali, Tali, at orangehatter.com. Be sure to subscribe to the Orange Hatter podcast so you'll be notified when new episodes drop. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.